Hi, welcome back to Thick and Fit. I am Anna and this is Isaac. So we haven't been on here in about 3 weeks, but I am posting some shorts that you guys should check out, just some bodybuilding stuff and some CrossFit workouts.
Let's go.
So today we're here to give a 6 to 8 month review on our Rogue FM6 Functional Trainer. Twin Functional Trainer. We've had it for about a year, but functioning it, we've had it for about 6 to 8 months.
Yeah, so when we first got this, we were the first ones, not the first ones, but we were the early adapters to it. And we bought this on the pre-order, and then that was back in May. And then by the time we got it, I don't remember the exact time. It was like the end of May when we put in the order, and then it took like a few months to get it. So it's probably even close to a year, I would say.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so I've got some topics that I wanted to address that I've noticed, and then Isaac's going to talk about the pros of this system. So number one is the Pulley system. The lowest it goes, you don't have great range of motion, so you have to kind of manipulate your body, pull your body back in order to get that full bicep curl or lat pull down, anything like that. As far as lifting the Pulley system all the way to the top, that's fine. I mean, because I'm not that tall. Also, the taller you are, the more you would have to move your body back in order to get that full range of motion. Pulley system, just remove, it's fine. It definitely pulls on you, so you gotta hold it or it will jerk a little bit. You gotta be careful because that's how we broke the piece. Pull it back up, making sure it locks in. So on this one, I bet it's too heavy. Shit, sorry. So if we do 40 pounds, I couldn't sit here and just do bicep curls. You gotta pull your body back. And if you're taller, you're pulling back even more. All right, as far as pulling it back to the top, again, making sure it locks in. This one, the taller you are, the more you're gonna have to move back to get that range of motion. Not a huge deal when you're dealing with it on top, more so on the bottom. Second issue are the safety bars. They are just a royal pain in the butt to do it by yourself. 2 people, it's no problem, but trying to adjust them in the middle of your workout for whatever movement you're trying to do, oh my gosh. I really wish we probably would have bought the belt system, but then there's issues there as far as how low you can do that belt system. So that's my other gripe. They're just really annoying and tedious to take in and out. They're not easy. All right, first I'm gonna show you what a pain in the ass it is to take it out, and it's even worse putting it in. Even if it looks easy, you've gotta have 2 hands on it. You have to be pretty careful or it makes a horrible sound. Okay, not terrible. Okay, so then you're putting it back in. Let's put it lower. You gotta make sure. So this left hand, I mean, it's just heavy. And then it gets stuck all the time. Okay. All right, it's very annoying.
I would say they're a pain in the ass. The belt system, you can use it, actually go a little bit lower, but because it does dip down like that, you might not be able to use like the full range of motion. And then on that part, since it is like that loop, wherever you put the bar, it's always gonna go to the center. So then you can only work off of one position while you're inside that cage.
Third thing, I would have, the height is fine on the rig, but the width, that extra foot, we should have just done it. I thought it was gonna take up too much space for my CrossFit workouts, but you are definitely limited by what you can do inside this rig. Not only with, I mean, back squats are fine because you're not moving a lot, but any type of like RDL work or deadlift work, you just have to stay in a certain spot because number one, if you're doing it too low or whatever it's asking, like mid-shin, the bolts on the bottom get in the way. So you're better off just coming out of the rig and setting up plates.
Do you feel like claustrophobic
Very.
with the 30-inch?
Yes, I would have gone another
out to the 43.
Yes. But
And the reason,
height-wise, it's fine.
yeah, the reason why we didn't was we have a 2-car garage, and we slowly just started. We added like a sauna on one side, and we just started like adding, like we have all the cardio equipment on one. So we have literally only like 2 spots to do like barbell work. And if it's barbell and a box and anything else, then we get really tight in here. And it's a little sketchy because we don't want like the bar to bounce into something else and break that. So we opted for the 30-inch, this portion to be 30 inches. It comes in 24, 30, and then 43. But looking at it after the fact, it's really like if you're already this far out, a little bit further is not going to make that much of a difference, really. But you would feel more like, or you would feel less claustrophobic in here.
Yeah.
It's not a huge deal, but
No.
just having like, you could have that in your peripheral, it just makes it feel a little like congested. And then with the big size of this 3x3, I feel like it just makes it feel like less room in there.
Yeah. So those are my cons, and then Isaac is going to take over and talk about the pros.
One of the pros is definitely the process that Rogue uses for their steel. So their powder coating is just like, it's spot on. We haven't had any chips, so we have like the knurling on this bar here that goes all the way, the knurling goes all the way to the end. So if it's just hanging, not like in where it belongs there, it kind of moves around and it'll hit the bar, and we haven't seen any like chipping or anything like that. So the quality of the color is, or like that part has been really nice, because it would suck to spend that much money and then you have to deal with like chipping and things like that. We're just weird like that. So that was considered a pro for us. The other one is hands down, Rogue's customer service has been huge. So if you've ever dealt with Rogue and you try to reach out to them, they are like quick. I mean, most of the time it's email, but they are super fast. And this piece here kind of goes on to like what Anna's cons are. When we lowered this all the way to the bottom on one of our videos to try to like get full range of motion on this trolley system on a curl, it hit one of the bolts, and like this piece, this protective shroud that protects this roller, it just snapped. So we put in an email request to them, and no shit, that piece was in there, in the mail, and here like within 2 days. So we're gonna go on there and we'll just show you what we're talking about here, and I'm gonna actually switch it out for you and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Be good. A couple of small bolts, and then just this piece here. And just a little easy back on. And then the cool thing about this is whenever you get the rig, every size Allen key that you need, they'll send it with you, or they'll send it with the packaging. So it makes it super easy. A couple turns, done. And then also, they didn't just send one, they sent 2. And it's because like when it goes to the bottom, let me just show you real quick. This piece is the one I just put on right here, kind of comes in here. But you can see on that bolt right here, it just comes down and it hit this piece right here and it cracked it. So their customer service has been phenomenal. They're really good, and if there's any pieces that you need, they can work that out to get it to you. So their customer service is spot on. So I think just that fact alone, we respect that, and we'll definitely be using them a little bit more just for that fact alone. The other thing I wanted to talk about, I don't know if it's a pro or a con, but like Rogue uses 3x3, like a true 3x3, where I think Titan Fitness uses 2.9 like something. So if you use any accessories from there, it'll fit on here, but you really have to like push it on there to go. And again, going back to that last statement, like you spend a lot of money on this, you don't want to like jam it up. But then again, I mean, it is workout equipment, so kind of like my truck. I was babying that thing until I got that first scratch, and it's like, game on, whatever. This is, it's supposed to be banged up and used like that. But we haven't got there yet because it is good quality. Another benefit of this, the Rogue, is the ecosystem of it, or ecosystem. You can use, like, they have so many attachments. They're always on the forefronts of innovation when it comes to building out new equipment, or they'll steal some ideas and make it better because that's just how they do it. They overbuilt. So you can get them, but again, you have another company that may use like a 2.96, not a true 3x3, so then it wouldn't work on here. So that system that they have, the stuff they come up with is pretty cool. We like it, and we haven't had any issues with it. Again, that customer service, we love it. And so all of their equipments, again, it has like that protective sleeves on it. So their J cups, anything that comes on here, these rollers are plastic. They have the plastic protection pieces that I'm gonna go over again. Like they found that's maybe a weak point, but they sense it out pretty quick. So they really pay attention to the small details, and that's what really matters to us. Like a company that pays that much attention to little fine details like that, it really shows they care. So I mean, that's why we like it. And then the last thing that I really appreciate about Rogue is, and they say it all the time, it is truly overbuilt. So this thing here will last generations. You know, my son, our kids, my son, her son, or whoever, whenever they get their own place, this will last for them, their kids. So 100% this thing will last for generations. So like overbuilt, you're paying a lot up front, but it's something that you could definitely pass on. And that means a lot to us, because we can get a rig that's a little bit cheaper or a lot cheaper, but is it gonna last like that? Or you're gonna have to keep spending $2,000 here, $2,000 there, $2,000 there. With this, you know it's gonna last a lifetime. Before I address one of your concerns, I just want to talk about one more pro, and that's the proprietary system that Rogue has with their pulley system. So when you have the twin system here, you have like this side and this side, so you can actually work on this here. One person could be doing like curls, and then the other one could be doing some like lat pull downs or something like that independently, since you have that two system. And then whenever you do like the lat pull down or the low row inside here, you just put like 110 here, 110 on this side, and it'll lift 110. Both of them still use like a 2-to-1 system. The big difference is Rogue's, the cable that comes out of the high roll, the cable that comes out of the high lat pull down or the low row system, it's just a single cable that you would see like any kind of like big gym. Whereas like the Rep Aries, that system, or maybe even like Titan Fitness, they have a single rope that comes out, and then you have to use like an attachment piece to hook up to both of those, and then hook up your attachment to that. So having that system like that you're used to in a gym, just hooking it up with just one single carabiner and not having to use that attachment is pretty big. How they did that, I'm not 100% sure. But what I noticed is like in order to get like a true 1-to-1, you have to put like 110 on this side, 110 on this side, and that'll give you a total of 110. So you're using a 2-to-1, 2-to-1, give you that whatever weight you have on there. And then if you use just one side, if you have the pin on 200, then you're really only lifting 100, and that's just because of science. And that roller, anytime that you have like a pulley on there, like on the actual weight itself, it automatically makes it a 2-to-1, and both of these have that system on there. Cool, so one of the concerns that we had was the lat pull down. The question was, hey, I'm 6'2", is that gonna be high enough for me to get that lat pull down? I'll demo that here so that you can see if it would be appropriate for you. Just know that like we have plenty of space on our garage. We have a 90-inch height. They do make a 100-inch height, so that gives you an extra 10 inches where that will not be an issue at all for you. So here, So you can see on each of the weights, there's definitely, well, guy math on inches is horrible, but I think there's definitely enough space. So from here to get attention about right here.
You want to put plates underneath here?
No. So to answer your question, if you're 6'2", I think you'll have just enough pull or just enough room if you had to stick with like a 90-inch. If you wanted to make sure, like with 100%, go with that 100-inch height. But yes, if you're around 6 foot, you'll have plenty of room to get that full range of motion without having that slack or bent arms. You'd be able to start off with some straight arms, even like pulled back, or maybe pull the chair back just a little bit if you really had to. Yep.
Okay, so as far as doing any kind of deadlift work, even if the safety bars were here, you're dealing with the same issue on the bolts. So you have to stay in this frame or you're going to hit the bolts. That's my gripe about it. So even if the safety bar were about like here, mid-shin, you still got to be careful with the bolts. So even if you had the safety bar at mid-shin, you've got to stay within about that much of the rig in order to not hit the bolts, and you have to be watching. Once it hits the bolts, your whole system gets off. So that's my other gripe about it. So if you're following Conjugate or Thunderbro, the program I'm on, I would not suggest doing any kind of band work inside here as far as deadlifts go, because the amount of room you have for air when you're doing these deadlifts is like nothing. So you're either gonna screw up your bumper plate or potentially, I mean, I don't think you can mess with the bolt, but you're just gonna get messed up inside. So you're better off pulling it outside, stacking up some plates and doing that deadlift work out there, or band work. Although I complained about the pulley system on the outside due to the range of motion being not low enough, you're able to do that type of work here where it's much lower, but it's still not to the ground. But you'll have way better range of motion. So they did kind of make up for it for the middle piece.
Cool, well that's it for a quick little pros and cons session, and then a Q&A that some questions that we had that we thought we would just do like that Q&A, help answer some questions. We could type it out, but sometimes it's really hard in the comment section to really like get the point across of what we're trying to say. Also like kind of to make sure that we're answering the question properly. So then we felt like it's easier just to make a video to show you. So one, on that Q&A, you just don't have enough room to do any kind of deadlift work in here without hitting the shroud or the bolts. Would it be possible to maybe put that on the inside? Because really on the inside, it wouldn't make that much of a difference, but how they would get it there. And then I think the big issue is if they move this cable here to the inside to give you more room where you would be able to do the deadlifts, then that might affect like where this placement's at here, because those would have to be on the inside, and then this will be over here on the inside. So having this on the outside just gives you just a little bit more range of motion to do some maybe like flies, whereas if it was on the inside, it just narrows that possibility to do any kind of like chest work or double like cable work.
And to answer your question, that you said you were 6'2", would this lat pull down work for you? Yeah, we definitely think it'll work for you.
Was that annoying?
No. So personally, I would say the pros outweigh the cons on this one, but it is something to be aware of before you buy this nice expensive piece of equipment.
Yeah, and really like if you didn't want to use the low row attachment to get full range of motion on any kind of curls or full range of motion on even just like some lateral raises, you could set up some plates out here to elevate your feet off the ground. Is it a pain in the butt? Yeah, but it'll definitely like raise your height up so that you can stay close to there and do it. You just set them up here and it'll just be one extra step before. So the easy option, just use the low row attachment to get that full range of motion. You could do some lateral raises on there to get full range of motion. You could probably do that here without having to step out. So that's an option. And then the other one with the deadlifts, like instead of doing them in here, you might just have to set up a system outside of here with like your dumbbells, something to use that band. You can still do band work. You'll just have to do it outside of the rig, which it sucks to set it up, but you definitely won't be able to do it in here because you will hit your plates will hit the shroud.
Even if you went the extra foot, it's not worth it to do it inside the rig.
Yeah, you're right. Even if you went out to that 43-inch, like that still sticks out far enough, like you saw in the video earlier, that you have little to no room for error, and nobody's really like perfectly symmetrical when they're like moving around. And just that little bit of balance could be enough to maybe even cause injury.
Yeah.
Definitely enough to get in your head and like think about it. So just on the deadlifts, if you're doing that conjugate, any kind of band work, I'd recommend you just setting up like a little like rig on the outside.
I agree. That's all we have for today on this. If anything comes up later on, we'll be back on to talk about it.
Yeah, make sure that whenever you guys are active on the comment section, it's really helpful for us. We love it because we get to go on there and like help answer questions, and then we feel like we're helping you make a decision on any of the equipment that you could potentially be interested or maybe buying. It could save you a lot of money and time. So if you have any questions, please ask us, and then we will be more than happy to even like find the equipment and try to do a review on it. Cool. Till next time, like, subscribe, even better, share it with your friends.
Bye.
See ya.